Alright guys, in this video we're going to go over what sold for me on Poshmark the past week, so you will be getting fresh data on what's sold fast for me, as well as the items that have sold because I have updated the listing descriptions. One of those big listing descriptions is the phrase normcore, and I know a lot of people are kind of confused by it. I remember hearing it from somewhere. I go onto Wikipedia and it turns out it is something that was described in 2008 by both a fashion blogger or group or whatever called K-Hole, and then it was also used in another like article way back then. So it was a thing before now. So 2008. But basically what it is it's anything that's unpretentious, neutral, doesn't cause you to stand out. That is the trend. So your jeans, your basic t-shirts, your button downs, all of those neutral sweaters, they qualify for normcore. So if you haven't updated your listings with those phrases or the descriptor words that Poshmark now has for its groupings, I would definitely take a look at your first page on Poshmark and just kind of go through those. Whimsy Goth is another one that's popped up. Grunge is coming back. So take a look at those. Through button blouse, it is a size 4, 100% silk, which is why I picked it up. If it's J. Crew and 100% silk and a button down, it's coming home with me. I did list it for cottage core, prairie core, and floral because it is kind of like a ditzy floral print, which seems to be a little bit more popular than, you know, your standard floral. And then it did sell for $20. I made $16. I believe I picked it up at the bins for, you know, less than $2. Let's be real. So great little flip on that guy. And then the next item was the Draper James cardigan with the faux fur collar. It was a size extra large, which is why I picked it up. It also had the faux fur. It was in cream and it is appropriate for the season that we're in. So I went ahead and grabbed that. I did list it under 90s, neutral, and I might even put normcore under that one as well as Y2K. But yeah, definitely reminds me of some of those sitcom styles that I saw growing up where the girls would wear something crazy with like a big foof around them. So yeah, sold for 22. I make 17.60. Then we have an Ula Johnson sweater. This one had a big oversized bow tie that went around the neckline. And then it also had a strip of Angora, which is rabbit hair or fur stripe right here. It had metallic weave throughout it. I did have it originally listed with like metallic gold, you know, black. Like I did more of the color description as well as the fabric description with the Angora and wool. I actually pulled back some of that recently and just did wool blend, metallic, and then holiday, Christmas, New Year's, and went into actual like trends as opposed to what the item actually is. And I think that's really helping get some of these items out of my closet. So this one did sell for $42. I would have liked a little bit more, but somebody sent me an offer and I've had it for a very, very long time. This is old merchandise of mine that I am trying to clear, but I didn't want to send this thread up. So very happy with this sale, and I make about $33. Then we have a pair of men's jeans. They are the AG jeans, Adriana Goldschmied. They are called the Matchbox jeans and they are gray. They were a unique size at 29 by 31 and a slim straight. So with those, there's not really a way to get trends as a way to make things sell faster. I don't think men's clothing really follows trends per se as much as women's does. So this was just kind of a surprise sale that came through. Obviously, I can't send my men's items into ThredUp, but I did relist a few of them. This was not one of them though. But this item sold for $32 and I make $25.60. It was a bins find. I'm sorry if you hear my kids in the background. They just got home from school. We have and Other Stories yellow boxy hoodie. It is a thicker cotton hoodie. It was new with tags, size extra small. So of course, this was an old item of mine that sat for quite a while. I did throw normcore into the description. I do think that that helps put it into a grouping where somebody that would want it would find it. And it ended up selling for $30 via an offer sent to me. So I made $24. It was again a bins find. We love the bins. Then we had a bundle of some of the new stuff that I found in the haul that I showed, one of which was that silk kimono that had a brand called IF. you know, not a brand that I'd pick up out of the blue, but because it was 100% silk, it was in a gorgeous teal color. It had the orchid print and a beautiful pinky purple that kind of fell along the Y2K guidelines. Um, and yeah, 100% silk kimono, why not pick it up? So that sold along with a pair of PJ Salvage, not the best pickup, size medium, but they were like new and very soft and fleecy on the inside. They sold for $50 via an offer sent to me, a little bit low, but I'm not going to counter when it's something that came from the bins, you know, for $5 or $6 more. It sold for a profit of $40. Item that my kid actually found at the Value Village when we went like 3 weeks ago. She saw them, and I like a heeled sneaker still. I still enjoy them. I know some people think they are trashy and or cheesy looking or weird, but I like them. I like a little wedge sneaker, even though I'm, you know, over 5'8". And so I picked these up. They were $13.50, but we had a $5 off 10 coupon that we used on them. And so for $8.50, I ended up flipping them for a $40 offer that was sent to me on Poshmark. I made $32. I'm happy with that, especially within less than a month. It's Nike. It's rose gold plus the color called bone, and that wedge style. I think there are people like me that still really like them. So happy with that flip. So the final item that sold is an Everlane button down flannel. It is in a cream and a brown colorway. It is a popover style. It was a size medium. And this was an old item that I had for a while that wasn't selling. I think it was due again to lack of descriptors when my kind of personal world was falling apart. I was just listing things and trying to get things up as quick as possible. So, you know, being really intentional or looking through what the algorithm was offering back then wasn't on my mind, which I think is why so many of these items sat that are actually, you know, selling now. This one sold for $27. I make $21.60. It was a bins find again, and it sold really quickly after I edited the listing a little bit and updated it with some keywords. So really happy about that. I feel like I'm kind of coming back into it, and maybe the failure that I was feeling in my mind back then, on top of all the other personal problems, was, you know, not failure, it was more fatigue. And I think when you're a type A minus, I don't say I'm type A anymore. I had 2 kids. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm a single mom. But when you're a type A minus personality, I think we see failure or the inability to accomplish everything. And it's not failure, it's just fatigue. We're tired. We're not supposed to do the job of 2.5 people. You know what I mean? But we try. What did I make? This last week, I made $263 before the site fees on Poshmark. That means that I made about $210 in profit on these items, which is I'm happy with. My closet's only at like 150 items or something like that. So for me to be able to make this much after probably pissing off the Poshmark algorithm with everything that I've been deleting. I did have a suspension already hit once this past month because of me not realizing that marking things not for sale is not the best idea, and it's actually better to do a full-blown deletion. Yeah, learned that the hard way. Yeah, I think I'm doing okay. I think it's all gonna come back. I'm gonna slowly build this back up and just keep using it as a stream of income for me to get through life and everything that's happening. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you at the next one. It'll probably involve a haul, maybe some thrifting, but I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate those of you that have returned for me after such a long break. So, bye.